What's up, pups? How you guys doing? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. I am filming a story time video today. It's kind of a story time. More of just like, this is something that happened, I want to talk to you guys about it. So yeah, I went to Applebees the other day. I don't do that. I don't go to Applebees. Applebees and me equals no-go. So if you guys saw my VidCon video from when we went to Applebees while we were at VidCon in Los Angeles, you'll know that I'm not the biggest fan of Applebees. So I went with a couple of my friends whom, by the way, you should go subscribe to them. I will leave their channels down below. So yeah, we all went to Applebees in Los Angeles, which, first of all, I'm going to Los Angeles and I'm eating Applebees. So we went really late at night and I hadn't been there in like 6 years and I was super mad about it because I don't like Applebee's. I just associate it with horrible food because when I went 6 years ago, the food was terrible. I get some appetizers. They're not the worst, but they're not the best, and whatever, we leave. That was my first experience going back in a really long time. So fast forward now about a month and a half, and Ian and I were home and we were trying to figure out where to go to eat because we didn't feel like cooking dinner. We didn't want to go anywhere super expensive, and we both have always had this stigma about how we will never go to Applebee's. However, we live across the street from an Applebee's. Like, we could literally walk across the street and go to Applebee's. So we decided that we were going to try Applebee's out. We're like, let's just go. If it sucks, we can laugh about it. No big deal. So we go to Applebee's. We get sat and our server is super kind and nice, and throughout this entire story, he was super kind and nice. But we sit down and we order drinks. Ian gets a beer, I get like a sangria thing. And the guy brings the drinks and I'm drinking my sangria and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, it doesn't taste super great. Like, it kind of tastes watered down, but I'll drink it. And then I go to take another sip and I look down at the glass and there is like someone's crazy metallic lipstick. Just like, it's a full lip on my glass. Cool. So I take my glass and I slide it to Ian and I'm like, can you, what is that? Can you just tell me what that is? And Ian goes, are you wearing lipstick? And I'm like, no, I'm not wearing lipstick. What is that? So there's someone else's crazy lipstick all over my glass, which at first I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't wash the glass well, but it didn't look like the glass was washed at all. Like, the lipstick was on it perfectly, which then kind of led me to believe that maybe someone ordered this drink and sent it back. And that would also kind of explain why the drink was so watered down. I quickly put that notion out of my head because I didn't want to throw up everywhere, and I waited for the server to come to the table. So when the server came to the table, I go, hey, funny story, I'm not wearing lipstick and that has lipstick on it. So the server looks down and he like apologizes profusely. He's so apologetic. He takes the glass, runs it back to the bar. A couple minutes later, they bring a new one out and it tastes great. Like, it tasted, I'm assuming, how it should have tasted the first time. So the second drink was great. There was no lipstick. It was fine. The food comes out. It's not great. I ordered chicken fingers just to be on the safe side, but the baked potato I got with it was like a hard mess. Like, you ever have those baked potatoes where you try to like put your fork in it and you expect it to be kind of fluffy and like good, but like it just like, it like comes out like you're shoveling butter. Like, it just comes out in one piece. Ian ordered this like mashed potato and like steak thing, and the steak, he said, was like so rubbery, so we both were trying to get through our food. We were struggling a little bit. So then we get the bill and I noticed that the server charged me for 2 drinks, but then he took off one of them. As someone who has worked in the industry for a very long time, I was a bartender, I was a server, I was a to-go person, I was everything. I did everything. Typically, especially as a bartender, if someone has like a hair in their drink, or there's lipstick stain, or their glass is broken or dirty, you kind of take care of it. Like, you know, you say you apologize, but then you also give them a replacement, but you don't charge them. That was just like the standard. Because even on nights where I had to be like a fake manager, that was just a standard. Like, you just do that. And Ian is actually a restaurant manager, so when he saw that they still charged us for the drink, even he was kind of like, that's weird. Like, they should have taken that off. Like, you shouldn't be paying for that. I mean, prime example, Ian and I were dining in Chicago and his glass broke in his mouth, like a piece of glass broke in his mouth, and they paid not only for our entire meal, but they also paid for our breakfast the next day, like at the hotel. And I also don't want to insinuate that I expect things to be paid for. Like, I'm not gonna cause a fit about that. Like, I never called the manager over, I never called the waiter over, I wasn't gonna say, hey, I don't want to pay for this. I obviously drank the second one. I'm not gonna be that person. I'm just letting you guys know, if you don't work in the industry, typically that's how you handle that situation. You apologize, you give them a new drink, and you don't charge them. That's just If you work in the industry, you understand what I'm saying. Whatever, we paid the bill. It was like insane. We kind of went to Applebee's under the assumption that our bill would be really low. Our bill was more than it is like when we go to Chili's, because we actually love Chili's. And our bill is usually about 20, 30 bucks at Chili's. Now double that, that was our Applebee's bill. I don't understand. So we kind of decided like, hey, this experience was kind of exactly what we expected, but not as terrible. Like we weren't planning on going back to Applebee's, but like it wasn't that bad. Like if the worst thing that happened was I got a lipstick stain and they charged me for the replacement, fine, I'm not mad about it. So we go to leave, we stand up, and I flip out because there's a giant palmetto bug roach thing on the ground, just right by our table. Like I stand up, I turn around. I just want to make sure you guys know that I am not like exaggerating this. In fact, to give you a good idea of how big the roach was, let me show you. Do you see this mini stapler? The size right here of this mini stapler, that was the size of the roach. Like I'm not exaggerating. This is how big they are. If you live in Florida, you understand. We get giant palmetto bugs. Not to mention they fly. Keep that in mind. You think cockroaches are scary? Now put some wings on them. So I pause and I'm like against the booth, like, what do I do? Because I knew if I moved too close, it was gonna fly up, but I didn't wanna like, oh God. So Ian walks by, he doesn't realize that it's there, and I go, oh my God. And he turns around, he's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. He knows that I don't, like sometimes we get them in our house. Listen, I am not a fan. We've had, ever since we moved into this apartment, I think 3 times I've found roaches in the house, and I just spray them with whatever I find. I think one time I sprayed it with carpet cleaner by accident because I was looking for bug spray, but like I will spray it with whatever, and nothing kills them unless you have actual roach killer. 4th of July actually, Ian and my friend Christine and I were out in our garage and we were lighting off some fireworks in our driveway, and Ian opened the door to go into the kitchen and I told him to slam the door really. I'm like, shut the door, because this giant roach was like crawling on the door about to get in the house. So he slams the door, grabs the roach spray and sprays it, and it flew at his face, and Ian screamed like the loudest scream I've ever heard. Like it's like, oh God, roaches are the worst. So back to the story. I'm like, I just thought I saw one. I'm like talking about them and they're freaking me out. I thought my shadow was a roach. I am freaking out and I tell Ian, I'm like, go get the manager, go get the manager, go get someone, go get a server, go get someone, go get someone, go get someone! He runs to go find someone and he grabs a server, and the server comes over and I go, hey, listen, listen, listen. Someone else is gonna lose their mind. You need to take care of that. Now, I'll be honest, if I would have seen that roach while we were still eating, I probably would have been more angry. I'm already grossed out enough that it's there while we're leaving, but if I had been eating and I saw it, knowing it was like right there by me. Also, precursor, I totally get that restaurants are not roach proof. I understand that, I get it, but I worked at Outback where we did get roaches every once in a while, and we would just buy traps and put them in places where customers can't see them. That's all you have to do. The server looks at me and I say that to her, I'm like, you need to get that. She goes, okay, and walks away. Like I'm a weirdo. Like I'm the weirdo because there's a roach on the ground. Like I was like, really? So we leave and Ian's like, they're not gonna do anything about it. And I'm like, what do you even mean? Just kill it, please. I actually tweeted about it on Twitter and I said, I will never go to Applebee's again because strike 1 lipstick, strike 2, didn't take it off the check, strike 3, there's a roach, I'm out. I'm outie 5,000. Food wasn't even that good. So Applebee's responds to me and says, you should take it up with the manager at the restaurant. Nope, I'm out, Applebee's. I'm not coming back. That's not my problem. That's your restaurant and I'm just not gonna go back. I'm not gonna go back to your restaurant to tell the manager that I told someone and they didn't seem to care, so I'm assuming they're not gonna care. Our server though was so kind throughout this whole ordeal, but we made sure to take care of him because he was really nice. But yeah, that was just like a crazy thing. This is why I hate Applebee's. Like I don't like Applebee's. Have you guys ever had any weird experiences with Applebee's or another restaurant? Because I feel like a lot of the times it's chain restaurants that are kind of like, they don't really take care of things. Like even, God, I could tell you stories of when I worked at Outback of things that I saw either people do or just things that I saw. For the most part though, Outback was super clean. Like I will say that, because I've had experiences before in other restaurants where I watched my manager, specifically in an unnamed restaurant, drop like a container of onions in dirty water by the back door where we take out the trash, dropped them in dirty water, picked up the onions with his hand, just went, held them under the sink and rinsed them for just a moment, and then threw them back in the container and walked over to the burger area and started putting onions on the burgers. I even said to him, like, do you want me to go tell someone to cut more onions? He's like, no, that's good. And I'm like, you just dropped it in that water that everyone's like stepping in. Are you serious? Are you serious? I actually put in my 2 weeks notice the next day and went to Outback. So that was that little mini story. But yeah, if you guys want to hear any more weird stories from when I worked in restaurants or like service in general, let me know. And also comment below if you have any weird stories yourselves. If this is the first video that you're seeing of mine, hi, I'm Kayleigh. You should subscribe by hitting that red button right down below and we can become best friends forever. Links to my Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, and Instagram are also down below. I'll see you guys in a few days with another video. Bye everybody.